Hello dear students, welcome in this online session. Once again we are meeting with this medium of live lectures or recorded lectures. So today we are going to learn about the syllabus and the lesson which is related with the 16th chapter climate, and the standard is 9th standard English medium. The subject is very beautiful, which is also known as SS. So we will learn more and maximum things in this lesson, and also we will learn about all the basic information related to the expanded information also related to climate and climatical change. So I hope you are fit and fine, and I hope you are doing well at your home. Obviously, whenever you are going outside of your home, whenever you are meeting strange people, whenever you are meeting your any elder one, young one, whoever are there in your life, you must keep some kinds of precautions and also maintain the self-distancing. So let's start the lesson today. The lesson is very beautiful. As you can see, already you might have seen this lesson's name, which is actually climate. Climate is a lesson which is depending upon the change. Which kind of change? The change which is actually correlated with the seasonal change, weather forecasting, food crop, and many more kinds of things also. As well, it will also relate with you and me, that which we are actually relating already since from the ancient time. It means that we will be also understanding that what kind of climate do we actually devour, which climate we are actually living in. So let's start the lesson. As you can see, I have already mentioned you here. It is easily showing you that climate is actually average change. Climatical change is an atmospheric change, but it is an average change, a condition which is actually changing after a long period, and that is how we can say generally climate is determined for general average of the weather conditions like summer, winter, cold, monsoon, or whatever the climate is that. Apart from that, if we can go more further, then we can say that atmospheric pressure are also very responsible to change a climate, but not in a short period. It will go for a longer period. It can be, if the question arises in your brain, what kind of period a climate need to be changed? What kind of period is needed? Approximately you can go more than 25 to 35 years also, and that is how climate is different from the weather. So now the first thing is that what kind of changes are there? First thing is that it can be related to the seasonal change. Okay. Now seasonal change can be relating with the crop, food, lifestyle, other many kinds of things, and that's how this lecture is also depending upon. So weather is an average condition of a shorter time. It can be changing at any time, or at any we can say way. It can be changing, or it can be keep changing also for a longer distance. But if you talk about the climate, it won't change like that. It takes a longer period, and rain is also very essential to be absent or present in changes of the climate, and that's how climate is a long-term process duration, and weather process is actually a very short term. Therefore, we can say that daily agricultural activities and many more kinds of things are depending upon the climate. Indian Meteorological Department of Science, if you talk about, or Department of whatever agriculture, they are actually publishing that daily reports belonging to the weather and weather forecasting. But if you talk about the climate, it is remaining same. Likewise, if I'm just justifying myself, then I'm living in a climate which is actually not so hot, not so cold. It is like a moderate climatical zone. But the people who are living inside the Rajasthan, they might be saying that they are living inside the zone which is actually hot climate zone. It may be the torrid zone also. Therefore, we can say India has actually got the large diversified. Along with the diversity, we can say along with other characters and diversity, most kinds of things are keep changing. Okay, they are always keeping in change, and that's how climatical conditions are remaining according to that kind of things. So therefore, we can say seasonal change. If we talk about the seasonal change, see, generally we are having 2 to 3 kinds of weathers, or 3 kinds or more than correlated 3 to 4 kinds of weathers. Okay, but climate can be according to a zone similar, single, equal, and it will take a longer time, as I'm repeating this thing so that you can easily understand, confine, and also confirm that what is actually the difference between climate and the weather, as you have already read from me in the previous standards. So this climate is also depending upon the wind. Now which kind of wind or weather is depending upon the wind? It can be monsoonal wind, trading winds, cold wind, frostbite winds, different kinds of winds are there. So therefore we can say these winds are also named after the some of the either Arabic winds, or it can be also named as either the other kinds of trading winds too here. So India shows a large diversity and characteristics in the climatical change, and as well we can say that some of the parts of earth is actually accordingly working with the climate and weather changes here. Therefore, so the winds are also changing according to the direction. So seasonal change can be also said as the monsoonal change or the monsoonal wind change too. So these winds are actually named after the Arabic word, that is Mausim. Mausim means what? That is the monsoon. Okay, so laterally we can say India, Sri Lanka, if you talk about, or apart from that Bangladesh, Pakistan, later on Myanmar, Asian countries and all, which are experiencing monsoon climate, they are also experiencing the climate same as like we are experiencing, just the timings can be delaying. Okay, it should not be like an accurate time, the timing could be delayed out here. So today's topic is the next one, which we can go after the introductory part, that is the seasonal change. Seasonal change means what? See, revolution of the earth is actually depending upon its rotation, and that's how we can say revolution of the earth and the sun and her axial tilt position are actually playing a major role in the changes of season. Without any kind of tilting position, without any kind of major role playing, earth is unable to get the climatical change too here, or the weather changes too. Therefore it is very, very important. Now according to the graphical calculation, if we go more further, then we can say that the axis of earth is actually tilted 23.5 as well. It is making an angle of 66.5 degree within the orbit, and that is how seasons are causing due to these kinds of changes, due to these kinds of somehow gravitational forces and all. So region receiving actually more sunlight experiencing summer, while the region receiving less sunlight can be experiencing the winter season, and that's how we can say that this is actually keeping in change. So sunlight is actually playing a very vital and important role in keeping the weather or discarding the weather and changing into the new one. And that is how this lesson is always making you, these kinds of lessons are always making you to understand that what is happening apart from the earth, related to the earth, and what is happening in our atmosphere, in our biosphere, and what will that create in the further. So this lesson is actually to make you aware, to make you understand that how these kinds of climatical change or the change which is occurring above the earth or on the surface of the earth is actually connected with our lifestyle. So now you can see also in the figure number 16.1 changes of the season, where you can check it out that earth is shown there as well. We can say the rotation of the earth is also shown here, and if you talk about the general thing, then we can say Tropic of Cancer is passing from the center, and therefore the days are also somehow actually in the summertime longer, in the winter time they are shorter enough. So summertime day, why it is longer? Because see, days calculation, your watch is actually not increasing some more time, no, it is remaining the same. But if I talk about the theory of sunset, sun is setting very late in the summer season, while in the winter sun is setting very early. So we feel that if the sun is setting at 6:30 in the winter, we'll feel that 6:30 means it's the night time. But in the winter time, opposite to the summer, in the summer time the sun will set at 7:15, so we will say that, oh, the days are longer. But actually the days are not longer, neither the night are shorter, but the sun duration makes us to feel like that. Okay, so that is how we can say when the less light receiving areas can be getting winter, and somehow sun rays are falling vertically over the Tropic of Capricorn on 22 of the December. That you need to remember, 22 of the December. So the southern hemisphere experiences summer, and and same as we can say the northern hemisphere experiences the winter. Therefore night is actually longer and colder is actually, it is more inside the winter, while we can say similarly in the summertime when the sun rays are vertically on the Tropic of Cancer on 21st June, the days are longer, and that is how we feel that the days are longer and the night is shorter. But actually according to the watch calculation, according to the time calculation, the time theory, it is not adding any kind of extra time. Like we have only 24 hours, it's not like it is gonna create 26, 27, 28 or 35 hours. No, the hours are remaining same, just we are actually moving with the duration. Okay, so now we need to understand, okay, what is rotation of the earth. See, rotation and revolution, okay, of the earth have a distinct and a direct impact on the food, okay, then clothing, apart from that residing places and all with the man and human whole of the ecological system. Why? Because this is actually making us to survive, but we need to go according to that, and that is how the winter and the summer monsoon winds are actually changing the directions according to the seasons, and after the seasonal weather forecasting, and if we get the peculiar characteristics of that, then we can say weather of the every season are different, and this is why climate is actually called the monsoonal climate, because it is not retailing the same, but it is bringing much amount of water. So that's how we can say we are going on the beautiful example related to this page. So variation in the climate of India is also one of the factor which we need to understand, and that is how variation in the India regarding climate is our next topic to be understood by you. So we need to understand that there are many variations in the climate of India. South India has a peninsular shape where we can say hence it is experiencing moderate. Now moderate means not so hot, not so cold, and same as we can say while the climate becomes more continental while we go away from the seashore. So if we go from the seashore far away, it will become continental. A large part of northern Indian area, or we can say in this away area from the sea coast, is experiencing the continental climate, and that is how the Tropic of Cancer passes almost from the center, means the middle of the India, and that is how area of the South India is actually falling inside the torrid zone. So we need to understand that India is divided into different kind of categorized direction wise zones, and that's how the climate is also referring to be different here. So if the climate is different, weather is different, obviously the food crop, living standard, house dwelling and their dressing sessions will be also changing, or it can be according to the own climate of that area particular from the people or the grid also. Therefore we can say the area of the South India, it falls in the torrid zone, while the area of the North India in the temperate zone. As a result, there is a large difference in the temperature and the rainfall differently if it compared with the another country. So that is how the temperature in the Leh and Dars in the North Kashmir is low as 45, minus 45. Okay, you need to remember Leh, Dars and Kashmir, it can be minus 45 degree Celsius during the winter. But Srinagar, if you talk about the Srinagar, then Alwar, Rajasthan, okay, northern part of the area records more than 51 degrees Celsius of the higher temperature. So why this is happening? This is happening because of the northern Himalayas and the climatical change or the climatical effect which is actually working almost there since from the ancient time or from the longer period. So that is how we can say that this is actually one of the things where one side we can receive summer, one side we can receive winter, other side we can go with the monsoonal side too. So if we talk about the monsoonal, then I can say that maximum amount of the rains are available in the Cherrapunji, then Meghalaya, in the eastern part of the India, which is getting almost around 1200 centimeters of the rain. So that is annually actually received out here, but it is also heavy compared to our zone. Similarly, my dear student, which is actually known as, we can say, heavy zone areas, but if you talk about Cherrapunji, which is actually famous with the maximum getting rain area in the world, and Mosinaram is very much near to that. If you go more there, that is about 16 kilometers away from Cherrapunji, and it is also famous for receiving the maximum amount of rainfall as per I said you, and the book also describes the same information. So therefore contradicting theories can be seen out here. Contradicting theory means one area receives heavy rainfall, one area receives heavy amount of cold, another area receives heavy amount of wind, another areas can be receiving heavy amount of we can say uncontrolled weather. So that is how India actually consists of, as I said you, that is variety of the seasons, variation in the India or variation in the seasons of India, and that is the main topic which we are learning today. Now some regions are actually experiencing devastating flood also. Now what is devastating flood? The flood which cannot be controlled, and it actually affect the human life, entire human life, as well as it actually we can say dismash everything there. So that's how we can say that is also actually due to the change or due to the effect of the climate which is actually working there, or which is actually affecting its qualitative we can say progress day by day, year by year. And that is how some of the region faces devastating effect of thunderstorm also, sandstorm also, as well as tropical cyclones too. So these all the things are the thing which I'm trying to make you understand and which will also help you that whenever you are going to see any place or whenever you are going to visit any kind of area, then you will easily find out that climate in that area is actually differing from your space area. And before you go, you need to clear this lesson. Now, factors which are responsible to affect the climate. Okay, now which are the factors? See, we'll understand the factors. Okay, now factors which are responsible, or we can say factors which are actually making effect to change the climate. So that is how can be understood these kinds of factors. See, factors can be responsible related to latitude and altitude. Obviously, you have heard very much right, because latitude and altitude are the basic thing which are affecting, which are making a climate or breaking a climate or making a setup of a climate also. Because climate type of the surface, if you talk about the latitude, then climatic type of the surface of the earth changes according to the latitude, place by place concerned. So over the period, it is actually changes, or it is actually setuping. For example, if you talk about, okay, there is distance about 1100 kilometers between two successive latitudes. It's a general thing. Same as the sun rays fall vertically over equatorial region, and hence it is actually very hot throughout from the year. So this is changes due to the latitude. India is divided into two parts, that is differently condition wise, and also we can say one is torrid zone and one is temperate zone. Torrid zone and temperate zone. Again, I am repeating torrid zone and temperate zone. Why I am repeating? Because you should understand that what is actually going on. Same as if you go more further, then we can say distance from the sea is also playing a vital role in that. It means the distance of landmass, sea, another important factor are responsible for that in the climatical making or breaking type. Water, land have also been captively conserved and released from the solar heat to be giving facility for the human life, for the animal, plant, trees for the longer time. And that is how we can say it is actually working now also. Means whenever we are actually experiencing the drought seasons and all, we use this kinds of natural recharge or natural kinds of the tanks which is helping us to give us the water too. So we can say the climate of, as for example, if we take this the example, then India is actually coming most of its zone inside the temperate zone. If you talk about some of the special cities or the metropolitan cities, states, areas and all, then we can say the climate of Mumbai in India is temperate and it is actually near to the sea coast area, while we can say it is continental in the Nagpur and Delhi, as well as these places are far from the sea coastal areas. So that was the information related to the latitude. Now we need to move to the altitude. Now what is altitude? See, as we go higher and higher from the plain area, okay, as we go higher and higher from the atmospheric sea level areas and all, air pressure comes down. It means air pressure decreases. We feel lots of amount of empty lungs, because we need to breathe very much harder. And that is how we can say, while we higher relief gets more rain, but the oxygen level somehow can be differing down here. So due to the higher altitude, the Himalayan peaks remains with the snow covered, and there is no friction related with the atmospheric pressure also. It remains like constant and the lower atmosphere. So moist air cools down, that rises with the giving of rain and all. When the heavy amount of ice caps are loaded and somehow summer is starting, it generates the rain too, or it generates the water too from there, percolating of the water. Lately, with the increase of altitude of the mountains like Meghalaya, apart from that we can say like the rainfall or the rainforest available on the higher altitude and all, generally they are also affected by the climate. And in the general air temperature, it is also, if you go more further, then at the rate of 1 degree Celsius from the mountain in Meghalaya and all, the extent, the decreasing of the climatic pressure can be seen out here. Means according to that, we can say okay, at the rate of, in general, air temperature decreases at the rate of 1 degree Celsius of the mountains in Meghalaya. So the rainfall actually increases, and in the general temperature of the air decreases. That is how we can say okay, for the extent of 165 meters, 6.5 degrees Celsius of the extent of every 1000 meter. Climate or the surface of the earth is experiencing the different amount of pressure gauge and the temperature too. So these are the basic things which we need to understand. So whenever I am explaining you this kinds of things, you need to understand that okay, you must keep textbook with you, so that you can learn from the textbook, you can refer from the textbook, and also you can go easily with these kinds of textbook and examples too. Okay, now see, the topic which I have explained you already, it is relating with the changes and all. So now we need to move to the atmospheric pressure and the wind. Yeah, atmospheric pressure, what is pressure and what is wind? See, in the general standard, in the lower grade, you might have heard that wind means the moving air is known as wind, but actually here the definition can be making your mind wobble or the change also, because we are talking about the 9th standard SS syllabus. So atmospheric pressure and the wind, it means that India falls in the path of northeastern part of the trading winds. I'll show you sometime the video figures also in my video lectures and all. So the wind originate due to the tropic of high pressure belt to the northern hemisphere, and same as we can say that okay, actually this is generated due to the other push-ups of the winds. It means the other trading winds. In the past days, wind were utilized to oceanic trade also. Oceanic trade means they were utilized for the travel also. Today they are actually utilized for the generating energy. So the different at the calculation of the general factor is actually relating same, but methods are changing. So high temperature over the Central Asia and the Indian landmass can be seen out, and at this time the pressure prevails over the ocean from the south. So the wind tends to blow from the higher pressure over the Indian Ocean from the center path. Same as to the lower pressure pockets and all to the northern side, and these winds are also known as the southwestern monsoonal winds. They consist maximum amount of moisture and bring rain too. So that is how we can say sometime a peculiar phenomena can be seen out sometime over the places. Some of the places can be experiencing heavy amount of rain, some of the places can be experiencing low amount of rain, but it depends that which kind of wind they are experiencing, and the wind is coming from which kind of the directional or the zone. Are they loaded with the moisture, or they have just released out the moisture due to the heavy rain and all. So sometime a peculiar phenomenon take place, and sometime over the places it is also actually located which is far places from the temporarily we can say sea coast area, river and all. So that the area which is located far away from this kinds of water reservoirs can be experiencing less amount of rain. Now if you talk about the phenomenon like this kinds of examples as I gave you, a temporary change in the long term climate pattern. Phenomenon can be like jet stream, western disturbance, then EI Nino, ITCZ have affected Indian weather longer and longer, and that is how monsoonal characteristics of climate of India is actually not that much changing, but somehow we can say general climate is changing due to this kinds of effect. So we need to grow more trees, we need to plant more trees, we need to get more amount of oxygen, and therefore we need to work hard to save the nature also. That's how we can say our climatical change is or it can be sustained well, and the climate which we need can be also easily provided to us. Okay, now after talking this much kinds of things, I would like to share some detailed theory with you. Seasons of India. Now what is seasons of India? See, in the detailed theory I can say that okay, seasons of India. Okay, you may or you may not. Okay, I think 99.9% all are knowing what is the season, because weather in the country is in India like remains almost same every 2 months, and this is 2 months duration is called the season. Now every 2 months means what? If the winter is starting since 2 months winter will be there, then after that it will be gradually decreasing and summer will be increasing, means mixing of the next season. Okay, some of the gap can be created, and in that gap we get the another season, means mixture of the season, and that is how we can say that this is the condition. Okay, there are actually some kinds of seasons related with that. If I take some of the name, then we can say these two direction or the duration, which is also actually known as the season. As per the tradition, there are generally 6 seasons in India, and there are seasons like Hemant, then we can go with Shishir, Vashant, Grishma, Varsha, Sharad and all. These are the seasons here. So these are hardly noticed in the difference weather between two seasons and all. If two weathers are changing from summer to winter, winter to summer, or we can say summer to monsoon, monsoon to winter, then cold season, hot season, rainy seasons can be classified easily. So changes in the seasons are experienced distinctly in India. Plus cold weather with the beginning of winter starts. Temperature gradually increases during the summer, while one set of monsoon air gathers and moisture brings the rain, and Indian people, Indian climate, Indian zone are experiencing the heavy amount of we can say puff of the winds also. So therefore we can say cold weather can be starting from winter December to February. Hot weather can be starting from summer March to May. Apart from that, advancing monsoon can be going from rainy season to June September. As well, retreating monsoon means the last monsoon can be observed from October to the November, and October means Bhadarvi Tap. October heat can be also experienced in these kinds of seasons. So I hope this lecture was interesting for you, and I hope you enjoyed the lecture too here. Now if you really want to go in the detailed form, then what you're gonna do, you need to prefer some of your own examples. You need to go and you need to also check out on the Google, and also you can easily say that okay, the seasons which are actually locating with the general days, common days, or changing of the months and all must be focused and must be once we can say they must be actually examined well. So that is how you can easily go with the season and seasonal example information, and you can boost up your mind regarding the season, and therefore you can see the weather, you can say the season, or you can see the climate and you can say the zone. Okay, chalo, take care and keep watching these videos and all, and also keep practicing at your home. We'll meet soon in the other part of the lecture. This was part number 1. So take care, keep revising. Jai Hind.